Welcome to the Rivalry Bros podcast, where the Bulldogs and Rebels clash off the field, and two friends, Scott and John, turn their school pride into all-out sports banter. From football to baseball, hoops to headlines. If it's Mississippi State versus Ole Miss, we're talking about it. This episode is brought to you by our title sponsor, Southern Love Barbecue, where flavor comes first. John, how was your day?
Well, go to hell at MSU.
We're jumping right into it, aren't we, huh?
Let's get this on, dude. I have been waiting on this for a couple episodes now. This is the game that we have been striving to talk about, and let's dive in, man. You know as much as I do. I hate Mississippi State. You hate Ole Miss. Let's get into this, man. Let the shit start. Let's ride.
We should have taken the word friends out of the intro because we're not friends today. And we're not friends on Black Friday either. It's over with on that.
There's no bueno. As soon as week 12 starts, I hate you, you hate me.
Well, usually you hate everything because Ole Miss's playoff chances are usually over by that time, so you don't really have much to go off of.
Considering the playoffs ain't been here very long and y'all have never even been considered, so you wouldn't know.
But only one of us was ranked number one in the first ever playoff ranking and actually had a prayer to get in it.
And you know who was in that ranking and had actually played y'all?
Who?
If that was to happen in 2014, when that came out, y'all were number one. I agree with that statement. You know who was number four?
Who?
Ole Miss, and we've been back-to-back Egg Bowls, baby.
Man, forgive me if I'm wrong, but number four ain't number one last I checked.
It's not, but how would that have been if we had two Egg Bowls back-to-back, though?
That would have been something. You know, we thought we were going to get it in baseball a few years ago, and we barely missed each other. I mean, by a thread. I think the world would have imploded because people do not understand this rivalry. They think they know this rivalry. They think it's a big deal, but they don't know.
No, they think Ohio State, Michigan is above this game. Man, hell nah. This game jumps anything in the Big 10, Big 12, Pac-10, ACC ever has to offer. This is in line with the Iron Bowl, and I live in Alabama, man.
Here's the thing.
And Iron Bowl between Alabama and Auburn is I'm talking about, that's deadly, dude. This is the same concept, just in a whole different state.
Here's the difference in places like Ohio State, Michigan. The only reason people consider those rivalries more than this one is because their stadiums have 100,000 people in them. What they don't consider is the fact that if you're from Columbus, Ohio, you're not going to church. You're not working with people every day from Ann Arbor, Michigan. We play the Egg Bowl on a Saturday, Friday, Saturday, whatever it is. And then we go sit beside each other on Sunday morning and praise Jesus like it never happened when we were fighting and spitting and cussing Saturday night. That's the difference. People don't get it. Kids go to school together. Our kids grow up together, and people just don't understand that feeling on Thanksgiving. It used to be Thanksgiving night. It's moved around. It is a different feeling when it gets to Egg Bowl game week.
It should either be Saturday evening or Thanksgiving Day. There shouldn't be no in between.
So, if you guys followed us last episode, we broke down all 11 games for State and Ole Miss. And tonight, like we said, is all about the Egg Bowl. So we're going to dive right into it. For me, Jeff Lebby knows what's at stake in this game because he coached under Lane Kiffin. He was at Ole Miss as the offensive coordinator. One of the top offensive coordinators in the country in 2020 and 2021. He had a high-flying offense that honestly helped boost Lane Kiffin's tenure at Ole Miss before he left for Oklahoma. He knows, no matter what type of season Mississippi State has, that all will be forgiven if he just beats Ole Miss. Now, that's not to say that that's the only game that State cares about. We care about every game on the schedule. But at the same time, if you went 4-8, 5-7, no one's going to say, well, you didn't make a bowl game. as long as you can say, but we beat Ole Miss. And Ole Miss does the same thing when it's their turn to be down in some years. So
Oh,
it
who are you
matters.
speaking?
It
Oh, it does
matters.
matter.
So it's going to be a big one. I cannot wait. He's got to win this game at home in Starkville. Ole Miss is known for having the fake plastic chandeliers hanging from their tents, ice cold freezing chicken tenders that taste like garbage, the rainbow bow ties everywhere,
You
the
just hate it because you
Sperry's,
hate us. You just hate it because you hate us.
the Sperry's everywhere that nobody wears anymore. I mean, they just can't stand Starkville. They think it's a swamp. They think it's a
It
cesspool.
is.
And I wish they would all stay home if they felt that way. Just stay home. We don't want you there. Just don't come to the
You
game.
can't even afford the chandeliers
Just don't come to the
because you ain't
game.
got no power in your daggone trailer parks. That's why.
Just don't come to the game. It would make our day so much better. On top of that, my question has always been, what kind of a diva is going to sit there and cheer and chant about a woman's drink? What kind of man sits there screaming hotty toddy while his woman's drinking a hotty toddy? In Starkville, we drink whiskey. We want to feel the burn. We got calluses on our hands because we're out working the field. We're out getting the butcher shops. We're out providing the meat for the table to feed families. We're not sitting in some pretty office with our feet up on the desk, pretending we know our stuff like we paid attention in school that our daddy paid for. We worked for it. Everything at Mississippi State is earned. Everything at Ole Miss is given. That's how it's always been. And that's how Ole Miss looks at State. Ole Miss is considered the doctors, the lawyers, the high-class folks, while State is considered to be the rednecks, the farmers, the agriculture. And honestly, what nobody realizes is if you take both away, what happens? It's not a good situation for either side. But boy, do we hate each other on Egg Bowl game day. So
Well, let me go and hold on now before you just said a mouthful. Let me go ahead and spoon some of that out of your throat before you choke.
come on.
One, you bringing up our game day apparel, our tailgating apparel with the chandeliers and most of the time there's no chicken tenders left from Abner's that y'all have just as well. And I have been to the shitty junction and y'all eat the same thing. But you talking about how we appear with and we have the lights when the lights go down and the chandeliers with the generators and everything. But y'all can't even afford that. Y'all's trailer parks are so daggone old. Dude, I grew up around that area. Starkville is just now getting powered 5 years ago. Y'all ain't got nothing out there. Y'all so damn poor. I don't care about the agriculture. I don't care about it, man. Nobody gives a rat's ass about Starkville because when you only thing about Starkville you remember is you got to make a U-turn to go to Taco Bell. That's the only thing you got to remember about Starkville.
Okay, listen. You all right. I was a student. I made midnight Taco Bell runs. And you got me on that one.
That U-turn.
You got me on that one. That U-turn is hell.
Sucks ass, don't it?
Mayor, fix that. Everybody's tired of it. Get the median out of the middle of Highway 12. Nobody likes it. It sucks. Nobody likes doing a U-turn. Just give me my taco, let me go home. So you got me on that one. That's true.
You want to bring up, you want to talk about us, how we are, bro. And since you broke down to us and you gave me that pause, let me explain about y'all. Man, all right, y'all say, Mississippi State's playing whoever. I don't care if it's EMCC. Y'all playing whoever, y'all getting beat, y'all having the family over. Bro, y'all were looking good the first quarter, maybe second quarter. It doesn't matter how the game goes, dude. Y'all's family turns into an orgy afterwards, dude, because the beer gets to flowing, y'all get to arguing. Ain't no telling what's going to happen.
You're going to the incest jokes. That's the oldest shit in the book. So
y'all ain't nothing but a bunch of inbreds, bro. You say we classy.
Oh my god.
We classy. Y'all trashy. That's just how it is, dude. It happens in every state. It's the same thing. Bama's classy, Auburn's trashy. Vandy's classy, Tennessee's trashy. Mustard balls. Um, every state has that, except Arkansas. Everybody's trashy in Arkansas.
Agreed. I
Um,
will agree with you on that.
you know, Georgia, Georgia Tech's classy. Georgia University, the other, the real dogs are trashy. Man, everyone has that, and just because y'all don't like it, it doesn't affect y'all. We can agree on something.
What's that?
Do you know what that is?
What's that? What can we agree on?
That we're in the SEC and we hate the Big Ten with a passion.
We agree on that for sure.
We hate the Big Ten. So did you? And it came out a couple months ago. You see where they placed this game up? They disrespected this game and put it at 11 a.m. on Friday. And so you sir or ma'am, whoever planned this game, just get out of here, dude.
I totally agree with that. There is no reason to do that.
This is the top 5 rivalry in the nation, dude. The history of hate between these two programs is way more intense than any Big Ten bullshit that will ever be televised on TV and on Saturday afternoon. It's just an insult to the history of Egg Bowl. This should never happen.
The thing is, when you wake up on Black Friday, you've had all the food on Thanksgiving, you know that everyone's watching football Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, whether it's NFL or college. The TV's going to have football on it all day for 3 days straight. Nobody is waking up on a Friday morning and saying, you know what? I can't wait to watch Indiana play Purdue today. Not a single person on earth is saying that. People are going to be excited about this game. I just wish it wasn't at 11 a.m. The game and the rivalry deserve better than to be relegated.
It's not necessarily the day. It's the time slot. I would have rather you gave us the Indiana game that you're preaching while we're at work. So when we get off at 3:30, everybody's that's most of the time off at 3:30, 4 o'clock. They have a game to go to.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's not necessarily the game I'm pissed off about. Like I said, it's the time slot. That 11 a.m. time slot is literally for your shit games. During most of your week games, that is what you get. That's why y'all got the 11 a.m. games. I guess it's really to blame y'all. That's the reason why we got 11 a.m.
Well, that was what I was fixing to say. When it came out that the time was 11 a.m. on Black Friday, the first thing I thought was, well, State did go 2-10 last year. I mean, I don't know how much of a part that played, but I know for a fact from people that I've spoken to, people that I used to work with, Mississippi State wants this game on Friday. It was on Friday this past year, and it was one of the most viewed Egg Bowls in the rivalry's history. The problem is, it also wasn't at 11 freaking a.m. on a work day. Right. So there's a difference. The day for me, I'm going to have to work during the Egg Bowl this year, is the day. I'm not happy about it. I hate it. I wish it would never be on Black Friday. And people say, well, just take the day off work. Yeah, sometimes people can't do that. Okay? Sometimes it just doesn't work out that way for people that would like to go to the game, that have been to every Egg Bowl for 20 years. Sometimes you don't have a choice. And that's the situation I'm in this year, and I'm not happy about it. I would much prefer it to be on a Thanksgiving night or a Saturday. I don't care if we're paired up with some other big games in the country. We're paired up with big games every weekend throughout the season, and nobody complains. We don't say, oh, well, let's play on Sunday morning before the NFL because we'll be the only college game on. Nobody says stupid crap like that. So I don't understand why we have to put it on a work day. I don't care what the holiday is. Most people may be off of work, but there's a lot of people that won't be, and there's nothing we can do about it. It's basically we're being told, too bad. we'd rather make more money by having a few more people watch the game than usual.
It's because people don't they don't understand the true intensity of this game. That's what it really comes down to. Besides the fact that y'all have sucked the past couple of years, that has a little to do with it. But in the big taste of reality, we are shadowed by Iron Bowl. You know, the USC, UCLA, the Michigan,
Ohio State.
and
Or Michigan,
Ohio
Michigan
State,
State.
Ohio State,
Yep.
the Florida State, the Georgia Tech. That rivalry is just, they're going to compare ours to that.
And it shouldn't be like that.
Other rivalries like that. When in all reality, like I said earlier in this podcast, is we should, if you had to put all those rivalries in a nutshell and the hate in between it, in the battles and the games and the statistics and everything that has went down in the past, in my opinion, we are number 2 and we are not far behind number 1. And I'm talking about in the country.
I don't disagree. I absolutely think we
Iron
are.
Bowl is number 1, and that's just I have witnessed it. I have seen it by living in this state. Iron Bowl is a lot more deadlier than we are.
Right.
But I'm talking about it's by just a fraction of a hair.
When you
It's the same concept.
When you see some of the national people, and State and Ole Miss, we have cycles just like every team in school does. Most of the time, our cycles are opposite each other. You guys are really good when we're really bad, and vice versa. That's typically how it goes. There's been very few years where we're both really good or both very bad. And even when that happens, it's still really good games being played. Yeah, it's still very competitive, enjoying, entertaining football.
Doesn't matter. None of the statistics matter when it comes to this game.
That's right.
When Mullen, when y'all had Dak Prescott and Hugh Freeze and Bo Wallace for us, that was the most competitive. If you had to put it at most competitive in a series between us here recently, that's it. That is your most competitive right there.
Absolutely. Just ask Pat McAfee what the most fun game that he called in 2019 was. You know what his answer is going to be? The Egg Bowl. The piss and the miss. Without question. And he called some huge games that year. It doesn't matter how good or bad we are. It is one of the best games of the year. Now, just to show you a little something here. Just to show you a little something here. We're talking about State being 2-10. Guess who else was 2-10 last year? Do you know?
Who's that, Scott?
Who's that? Florida State. Florida State went 2-10 last year. All right?
Yeah.
Florida went 8-5. Their game is Saturday, November 29th, at either 2:30 or 5. You telling me they get? You're telling me they earn primetime over a State and Ole Miss rivalry? I have not heard one Florida fan talk crap about a Florida State fan in my entire life. Ever.
Oh, I have. I'm related to a few of them.
Well, I feel sorry.
It gets intense, but see, I have been to Tallahassee on a tailgating Florida State, and this was the year that they were actually good. The year that they were supposed to go in the playoffs,
right,
and win the national championship,
right,
but they didn't.
Is Florida State a better rivalry than the Egg Bowl?
Hell no, dude.
Is there more hate? Is there more pure hatred in any rivalry other than the Egg Bowl, in your opinion?
It is.
I'm not talking about we don't like each other. I'm talking about we hate each other.
It's a tie between us and the Iron Bowl. Dead nuts tie.
That's fair. I'm not in the Iron Bowl rivalry. You are.
Alabama and Auburn fans are they want to kill each other. They literally do not like each other at no cost. No, it's the same thing. They don't like each other on Saturdays, but they will sit next to each other on church on Sundays, just like we will. So that's why I say it is a tie.
So you think so? Who's
It
your number one rivalry in the country?
definitely, I'm going to say Egg Bowl, no doubt about that,
The number one
no
rivalry?
doubt, number one. But
Okay, so then number
it's
two would have to be
close,
the Iron Bowl then.
no doubt, no
Okay,
doubt, no doubt.
I agree with that. I mean, it's, like I said, I think you have the true passion of a rivalry when it doesn't matter if both teams are 4-8, 5-7. It doesn't matter. State and Oxford, or Oxford and Starkville, they're both going to be packed out for the Egg Bowl. It doesn't matter what our records are. Everyone's going to show up for the game, and everyone is still going to watch it as if we're playing a national championship every year. And then
Oh no,
God bless the Egg Bowl years where we were both 5-7 and fighting for bowl eligibility, because God knows we've
man,
had a
those are
lot
the
of
worst.
those. We've had a lot of those matchups over the years.
My liver hates those 2 years.
So, I mean, it's, going back to this year's upcoming Egg Bowl, obviously you guys are going to be good. We know that. State's probably going to struggle based on my other predictions on the schedule and the hard schedule that they have. They have the hardest schedule in the country. But it would be real easy for me to sit here and say, yeah, Ole Miss is probably going to win the Egg Bowl. But then I would miss
But that's
out
not
on the
any.
chance.
You can't do that.
But I would miss out on the chance to see all the loafer wearing trust fund babies hollering, my daddy's going to sue your daddy, as they leave the stadium without the Egg Bowl trophy. And I just cannot pass up that opportunity. Now, some real talk. State's defense was bottom 5 in the country last year. I think they were even bottom 3 in the country. It was god awful. Literally watched many of the games last year just understanding that the other team, before the game even starts, that team's going to put 20 or 30 on you no matter what. And we played our best game in Oxford on the road last year for the Egg Bowl. Now, Ole Miss won 26-14, but I think you would agree it never felt like State was out of that game until the clocks hit 0. So, despite my thoughts on the overall season and record this year, I'm never going to pick State to lose at home to Ole Miss. It will not happen. I have State. Seriously. I have State winning this game 17-14 this year. Another instant classic, all-time Egg Bowl. And I will even throw another prediction on the game. I think Lane Kiffin gets at least one unsportsmanlike penalty called on him out of frustration and him losing his cool, because everybody likes to make fun of Lane Kiffin. That's true. People say stuff about him, and sometimes he seems like he's a cooler head and he doesn't get hot and frustrated and bothered by everything. There is one thing in this world that pisses Lane Kiffin off more than anything else, and it
Losing.
No, it's not losing either. If you watch his facial expressions and you watch him in past Egg Bowls, it is the glorious, beautiful sound of those cowbells that just grind his damn gears. You can see he is pissed off the second he walks in our stadium. And
I don't blame him.
He sits there with the eye rolls, and I mean, he just loses his cool every time the game is in Oxford. And I just cannot wait to see it.
You mean Starkville. You mean Starkville.
Starkville, yes. We're not Oxford, sorry. But
yeah, because in Oxford, his mind's free. He's not having to worry about them clank clank clank. Worry about it if a stampede's going to come run him over.
Nick
He's not
Saban
having to
never
worry
had a
about
problem.
that.
Good coaches don't have a problem getting over it.
Man, yeah, the good coaches don't have to worry. We don't have to worry about dang old cows running over us, man. I can't. I'm like him. I can't stand that. Dang, I've been to Davis Wade, dude.
Let me ask you a question. Do you remember the 2007 Egg Bowl? The 2007 Egg Bowl. Do you remember how it ended?
That one I don't. I remember the 2003 when Eli Manning came in there on a rainy night, put up like 48, 49 points to 0.
No. I'm asking you about the 2007 Egg Bowl. Sylvester
Now
Cream was the head
I don't
coach.
remember that one because I wasn't at that one.
Ed Orgeron versus Sylvester Cream. I think it was Ed
Oh
Orgeron in
God, dude!
'07.
I
It
don't
may have
even
still
want
been
time out,
Cutcliffe.
time out. I don't even want to. Why are you bringing up those days? Those days were god awful.
Because I think the 2007 Egg Bowl and this year's Egg Bowl are going to be very similar. That game
And Ogeron
ended.
never had a team like this.
That game ended because Ole Miss had to punt with just barely over a minute left in the game, and Derek Pegues took the punt off of a bounce right back up the middle for the game-winning touchdown. Out of nowhere. I was watching that game with a friend of mine, a family friend who was a massive Ole Miss fan. He even had a room that was covered with Colonel Reb and everything Ole Miss you could think of. And to watch the dejection, and literally he was speechless when we watched Derek Pegues run that ball back because we didn't think State had a chance. And it was close, and we're thinking, oh yeah, well they're gonna run the clock out, and then we stop them, and then they punt the ball. We couldn't believe it. And then he picks it up and he runs it back. I think this year's game is going to be close, and I think it's going to end on a single play, just like that did.
Man, the only time I have something like that, and it goes towards y'all's, is that I remember I was at Davis Wade. I believe it was I think it was 2014 or 2013. Y'all were wearing them god awful
That's the
gold
overtime
and
game.
maroon jerseys.
That's the overtime game. In the rain, Dak Prescott was injured.
And Bo Wallace, he run it 10, 5.
Yep.
He gets tackled and he fumbles right there in the end zone.
Well, I saw it a little different. Nico Whitley actually punched the ball out of Bo Wallace's hands because he had too much hand lotion on. And what he did after he picked the ball up is Nico Whitley went to the back of the end zone with Bo Wallace just laying face down in the end zone. It honestly looked like he teabagged him. If he meant for it to look like it, I don't know. But that's absolutely what it looked like. Not to mention,
teabagged him on purpose.
Not to mention, Nico Whitley played that game and half of that season on a torn ACL. He did that with a torn ACL. I'll never forget it. Shout out Nico Whitley.
I didn't know that. That's impressive right there.
One of the toughest, baddest dudes to ever play at State. He was one of the hardest hitters I have ever seen. And it was fun to watch him play every time.
Regardless of all that, man, y'all, you can say what you want past in your recent time, but if you break it down, y'all still little brother. We still have including up to 2025. We still have a 20 game over y'all.
So when were those 20 games won?
It's 66, 46, and 6 ties. And I'm talking about that is this series.
And you guys won something like 25 straight back in the 50s and 60s when neither one of us were alive.
I'm just spitting that out. But hear me out, man. Hey, I'm about to get to the good part for you if you'll listen to me. Now I'm just showing out the overall. But we don't care about we're not going to go that deep into it. We're just going to break it down, say past 15 years from 2010 to 2024. That's 15 years, right? So Ole Miss has won 8 times, State has won 7. But after NCAA problems and all, we've had 2 vacated. Y'all have had 1 vacated. So in all reality, in saying all that in the past 15 years, we're tied, man. So
we are tied in the last 15 years. That's something. It speaks to the rivalry again.
It speaks to it. Yeah, you and me sit right here. We can go at it constantly, man. Every day. It seems like every day you and me back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But it shows, and this is where I wish, going back to where the rivalry deserves the respect, is we are back and forth, in a consistently a good game. And the statistics show it.
I agree.
You can't say that about any other rivalry.
This is easily one of the most underrated games in the country every year. And if you listen closely, when you listen to the ESPN telecast, when it's on TV, you can literally hear the moment that the announcers remember. It's like the light bulb goes off and they go, "Oh, yeah, this game is really good. Where have we been all
forgot they
year?"
know how to play football in Mississippi.
Exactly. I mean, it really is almost like that's what happens. And it's embarrassing because people don't pay attention to this game and they should. They are missing out. But you were
They
talking
are.
about from 2010 to 2025 and you said we're tied. I find something even more impressive about it. What happened in 2017? Do you remember? Just overall state of the program stuff. Do you remember what happened in 17?
Freeze got caught with a burner.
In 2017, Dan Mullen left Mississippi State, and all the Ole Miss fans rejoiced. And in 2019, guess what happened? Joe Moorhead gets fired because the piss and the miss happened, which led to y'all firing Matt Luke and hiring Lane Kiffin, and then Mississippi State said, well, they can't do that and we can't get better, so we fired Joe Moorhead and we hired Mike Leach.
Rest in peace.
And then, unfortunately, we know what happened with Mike Leach, and then we make the hire of Zach Arnett for 1 year. And let me say something about Zach Arnett real quick. And if he's listening, I hope he does hear this. There was not a bigger fan of Zach Arnett than me. And I was very excited when he got the head coaching job. You know why? Because when Dan Mullen got hired, he came in with that blue collar, we've got a chip on our shoulder, we've got to work harder for it than everybody else attitude that our program has always had to have to be successful. Zach Arnett had that as a defensive coordinator. He was a dog as a defensive coordinator. That defense, I think he had number one in the country 1 or 2 years under Mike Leach, easily. And he was a dude. Well, he becomes the head coach, and everybody in the fan base thought, man, this is legit. His energy matches our players. He's going to be a hard ass. He's going to get the best out of everybody. If he did that to the defense, man, we're going to be a program built on toughness. Nobody's going to want to play us. And then he did one thing in a post-game press conference. I think he cursed or something on the post-game radio show. And if you listen to his interviews after that moment, he was a completely different coach. It was like he was lost from that moment on, and you could see it on his face on the sidelines. If he had stayed true to who he is and not let whatever administrator it was change him, there is no telling the amount of success he would have had at Mississippi State. But nevertheless, he was awful, and Greg Knox became our interim coach once again, the only coach that's undefeated in Egg Bowls, multiple Egg Bowls. And, we go to Jeff Lebby. Now, what does that mean? Again, for state fans. Again, for state.
Smart.
He did. But the thing for state fans to understand.
He did become a defensive analyst for us, and I take it.
Y'all needed improvement on the defensive side of the ball. But can he go back to being that defensive coordinator that he was? I mean, who knows?
I take him. I would take him as a DC any day of the week. And this is me speaking. He is a top 15 DC right now in this country.
Without question.
In college football right now, he's a top 15 DC right now.
If he could be top 5 if he would go back to what he was when he was at Mississippi State. Whatever got in his head, whoever got in his head about how he needed to change how he presented himself, change how he talked, completely ruined this man's career. I mean, he literally became a different person, and it was unbelievable. But here's the thing everybody needs to understand about Jeff Lebby. We went 2-10 last year. We had no talent on the roster, hardly at all. There was junior colleges with better talent. He's not going anywhere. He's not. We gave him a dumpster fire. He's doing the absolute best he can. And what happens after you go 2-10? Well, now you got to recruit and flip the roster. Well, how do you do that when you just went 2-10?
Portal.
You try to use the portal, but even then, you're not bringing in top players. So what do you do now? Well, you flip the roster, you go specific need only, and that's what he did. He got some good players in. We didn't overhaul either side of the ball. We got Blake Shapen back. But at the same time, what's he rewarded with? Hey, we know you had no talent and just went 2-10 last year. Congratulations, here's the hardest schedule in the damn country. Good luck. You can't fire the guy. If he goes 2-10 this year, you can't fire the guy. You just can't. Now, it depends on how that 2-10 looks. If it looks incompetent, then yeah, maybe you make a change. But if it's competitive football and we just happen to lose these games because they're the better teams, how do you walk in there and look Jeff Levy in the face and say, hey, we know we put you in a bad situation, but we got to let you go? Because what's going to happen when you do that? No coach is going to come here.
You're not going to hire nobody. You're going to hire somebody worse than Jeff Levy.
No coach will come here if that happens. And I'm hoping Jeff Levy succeeds. I like him as a person. I want him to succeed. But here's the simple summary I have. He is our 5th head football coach in 8 years. 5 head coaches in 8 seasons. There's not a football program in the country that could sustain competitiveness through that. There's not. And it does not work when you're constantly changing, especially with today's portal and NIL. If the players don't know who's there and what their coaching history is like and what they've done, if they have no track record to follow, they're not coming. And State and Ole Miss fans need to understand that. I know Ole Miss fans like when we do terrible, but just get used to it. Levy's not going anywhere. If we're smart.
I want y'all to keep Levy.
You would.
I want y'all to keep Levy.
Well, here's the thing you don't understand. Lane Kiffin will not be the head coach of Ole Miss in 2026 either. That's my other big prediction. But you ain't ready for that one.
Here comes. Please let me at least get halfway through the season before I hear that rumor come up. If you actually watch Media Days and watch what he said to Paul Feinbaum, man, don't start that stuff. Normally comes in around week 10 where he's like, "You're going to say Lane Kiffin's going to take this job." Wait, Lane Kiffin just said he's not going to take any other jobs. He's found home. He's literally, his kids are in Oxford. His brother, his family's there. There's like 10 to 14 Kiffins in Oxford now. Mm-hmm. They're not going anywhere. You might as well get used to seeing him in Ole Miss gear.
Hey John, Lane Kiffin
wants to bring
Lane Kiffin posted a picture on Twitter the other day. You know where he was?
Fishing, probably.
Florida, where he is every single time he's not in Oxford coaching Ole Miss. He is in Florida fishing. He is at his house in Florida, in Boca Raton. You cannot sit here and honestly tell me that when the Florida Gators job opens that he is not candidate number 1. You cannot seriously tell me that.
He's definitely candidate number 1, but he's not going to take it.
He will. Florida will pay him $10 million past what y'all are paying him. Easily.
We're already paying him $10 million.
Okay, then Florida will pay him 20. Florida has more money.
So you're saying Florida's going to make him the number 1 paid coach in the country over Ryan Day at Ohio State, over Kirby Smart, over.
I didn't say that. I said Florida had more money than y'all, and Lane Kiffin will coach the Florida Gators in 2026.
No. I mean, if you want to time it, we got a bet we got to get into. But if you want to make this a side bet just thrown out, I'd say in there right now, he's definitely not going to Florida in 2026.
Okay.
I'll put that out there now.
Okay.
He is not going to the dumpster fire of Florida right now just to start over what he has to do, what he's done, everything he's done in Ole Miss going into year 6. Just to start over at Florida. He's not going to do it.
Florida's going to fire Billy Napier when they go 8-4 again. And there's going to be talent at Florida. Whoever the coach is going to walk in and win 10, 11 games in year 1. That's what's going to happen. I am telling you right now.
Hey, what if Nick Saban took that job? Because there's rumor that he is potentially coming back to coaching.
There
Pure
is
Greg
a
McElroy.
there is a rumor he's coming back to coaching.
What if he took that Florida job, though?
That would be something,
Uh-huh.
but when you close your eyes, try to picture him. You can picture him in Alabama colors. You could picture him in LSU. I could picture him in maroon and white. But I
But
cannot
you,
picture him in blue and orange. I just can't see it.
bro, that would be something.
And you know why he wouldn't do that? I will tell you why he wouldn't do that. Because his name would be compared constantly to Steve Spurrier. And Saban's not going to do that. Saban's smart, okay? He is the greatest college football coach of all time. But how did he do it? He did it at LSU, and he did it at Alabama.
Sure didn't do it in Miami.
He didn't do it at Michigan State. He didn't do it at the Miami Dolphins. He didn't
did
do
the
it.
SEC.
He didn't do it at a Kentucky, at a Vanderbilt, at a Ole Miss, at a Mississippi State. He did it at LSU and Alabama. The two programs for the longest time in the history of the SEC that had the most money, that they were, everybody paid players. Everybody knows it was true. They had the most resources, the biggest fan bases. He did it at two of the easiest places to do it at. Did Nick Saban, and I'll tell you why, did Nick Saban win a national championship at LSU?
Yes.
Did Ed Orgeron win a national championship at LSU?
Yes.
I rest my case. Come on. Ed Orgeron won a championship at LSU, and Nick Saban did? What did Nick Saban do? He won a national
Joe
championship
Moorhead
at both
could have won a
places.
championship with that team, with that roster.
That's my point. If Nick Saban
You're
comes
welcome.
back to coaching,
I'm just trying to agree with you.
if Nick Saban comes back to coaching, don't go to Florida. Don't go to Ohio State or Penn State. You bring your ass to Starkville, Mississippi, and you do it where it's never been done before. You do it in Oxford. You do it in Starkville. You do it in Lexington. And cement yourself as the greatest of all time. That's what I'd rather see. He's good. He would do it at Florida. He would do it at Penn State without even trying. If he went to a Big Ten school, dude, season's over after week one every year. He's beating everybody. Everybody. There would be no competition at all in the Big Ten if he was a coach there. So I would love to see him come back. But I'm just telling you, we can do a side bet. We can do whatever you want. But I'm telling you, Lane Kiffin will be the head coach of the Florida Gators in 2026.
We'll dig into that later in life.
And I'm not going to say it. I won't say it throughout the season. I'm just going to say it right now, and then I'll be quiet about it, and I'll watch it happen. And as it happens, you're going to call me and text me and go, oh, my God, I can't believe he's leaving. And I'm going to say, there we go. I told you so. But that's enough about that. Every good rivalry needs a little spice, and every great meal needs a whole lot of flavor. At Southern Love Barbecue, they're bringing both, straight from their kitchen to your grill. Their original rub is the kind of blend that brings people together, whether you're repping maroon and white or red and blue. It's handcrafted, slow built, and just happens to be an award winner too. Whether you're smoking ribs, seasoning wings, or just want to level up your weekend cookout, this is the flavor that sticks with you in all the best ways. And right now, because you're a loyal listener of the Rivalry Bros podcast, we've got something special for you. Go to southernlovebarbecue.com and use Rivalry Bros when you order, and they'll show you a little extra Southern love at checkout. No matter who you root for, make sure your barbecue wins. Southern Love Barbecue, where flavor comes first. What is your prediction for this Egg Bowl? I've got mine as 17-14. Instant classic game. Everyone's going to remember it for years. We'll be talking about it 20 years from now. We've talked the crap. We know the rivalry. Let's talk football. What is your actual prediction on this game?
Man, are you ready?
Don't do that to me.
For the biggest
Don't do that to me.
beatdown of the year. Man, Simmons is about to get his first taste of how tense this game is. And he's not going to let you down. It's about to be the game of his life. He is literally, Ole Miss's offense and defense is going to put their foot on your neck and not let up. Y'all season's over. Y'all go ahead and hang the white flag. Call it a day. grab your baseball bat and your glove, head on to baseball season. This bullshit season is over. Y'all were 3-9, and we take the Golden A back to Oxford, and we win 31-9. Y'all don't even touch the end zone.
So you don't think we get a touchdown?
I don't think y'all get a touchdown.
With a Jeff Lebby coached offense? Be real. Be real for a
our
minute.
defense is, I'm telling you, our defense is going to be that good by this time. Our defense is going to be legit. With Pete Golding, we have Pete Golding as our DC. Look, you can say what you want to about last year's. Oh, that was the best defense that we've had since 2014 in 10 years. Okay, and it was better than that. All right, we have a defense. And Jeff and Pete Golding is still going to put up numbers and still going to do his job. All right. So yes, I have y'all not touching the end zone. This is going to get y'all rattled. Y'all are not going to do nothing. Y'all special teams, offense, defense. It's going to be like what I think it was 1 year. It was like early 2009. 1 year. Y'all couldn't even cross the 50-yard line. It's going to be like that.
Well, let me ask you this. What happened last year? Okay. What happened last year when it was the worst defense in the country? Our worst defense we've ever had, and y'all scored 24 points with a fifth-year starter, a top 10 draft pick, or top 10 round draft pick. What happened? It was on your own field. You think you're coming to our field and putting up 31 points when all you could do last year was 24 against the worst defense in the country?
Well, it may be y'all's field, but per Lane Kiffin on SEC Media Days, it's going to be a home game for us. We have 9 home games this year. What else is that?
You know who's never heard 60,000 cowbells?
Who's that?
Austin
Simmons. He's heard them. But see, he's only have to hear them on pregame because once we get the ball first and go down there and score 7, you might as well put him in your back pocket and put him where the sun don't shine because he ain't going to be coming back out.
Well, like I said, I expect an instant classic. But let's get into the overall schedule here. We've been over all 12 games now. So for Mississippi State, I've got State going 4-8, unfortunately, which I think 4-8 would be a miracle this year. That would double our win total from last year. It is improvement. And I think it would speak volumes going into Lebby's third year. He's got the culture. Now he's shown a little bit about what he can do. 4-8 with the schedule they play this year would be pretty dang good. Once again, we play 4 playoff teams from 2024. They were all on the road last year, but they're all going to be in Starkville this year. State's total opponent record from 2024 was 103-56. Southern Miss is the only team on the schedule this year that had a losing record last year. State played 12 teams last year, and 6 of the 12 had double-digit wins in 2024. It's just another year that the SEC screws Mississippi State with one of the hardest schedules in the country. Right now it sits at number 2 nationally. You know where Ole Miss sits? 15 out of 16 in the SEC.
Mm-hmm.
That should not happen. It's just a part of life for State these days. It's hard to blame Jeff Lebby too much. Like I said, he was put in an impossible situation. And I think that if he goes 4-8 this year, it would be borderline miracle status. I mean, it would be unbelievable for him to do that. So we have no choice. Lebby's our coach. Get used to it. Like I said, we're on our 5th head coach in 8 years. He's not going anywhere anytime soon. Get on board. Support the program. Support Lebby. And I think we will reap the benefits in year 3 and beyond.
Well, man, yeah, I predict y'all a little bit less than that. Y'all are going to improve, but not by 2 games, but by 1. Y'all will go 3-9, and like you said, it would be an improvement, but not by much. You got to give Jeff Lebby a little bit of time, man. You can't just rush this process. You got to put faith in him like y'all have in your baseball program now. But I see us going 11-1.
Come
And
on,
we
dude.
beat. Now, hear me out. We beat everybody but Georgia. Ole Miss ends the 2025 season with another dominant season. This is going to be the year that Lane Kiffin needed to take Ole Miss to the next level. Man, I firmly believe that this year that is going to make us, no question, an elite program in the country. You state fans can hate all you
Oh
want,
my
you can
goodness.
say what you want, but this is what makes us elite. This is what gets us into that top tier in the country, top 1 and 2 tiers in the country. Not top 3, top 2. We just take that step. All right, and why? Yeah, it may be true, and you're right. We have an easy schedule this year. But man, it's the luck of the draw. It is what it is. You can't control it. I can't control it. Nobody can control it because they did the schedule 10 years ago. They made these schedules, or these non-conference schedules, years and years ago. So we have no control over it, but just take for what you got. But if you really want to bring something up, when y'all were, remember back in, you brought this up earlier, when y'all were number 1 in 2014 under Dan Mullen,
Mm-hmm.
and y'all went 10-3 at the end of the season.
That's right.
Where was y'all scheduled at that year?
I don't know.
62nd out of 128.
Well, how about
So,
that?
Yeah, it's okay. Y'all get cupcakes every now and then too. Just like when y'all are good, y'all get cupcakes. When we're good, we get those. You got to earn your desserts. Y'all ain't earned your desserts yet this year, my guy.
But let me say this.
So,
You're going off of 62nd out of 128. That's at the end of that season. Because what people forget is in that 2014 season, the reason Mississippi State went from totally unranked to number 1 in the country and then spent 5 weeks there is because Mississippi State played and beat 3 top 10 teams in week 1, in week 2, and week 3. Back-to-back weeks for 3 weeks, Mississippi State beat top 10 teams, 3 in a row.
wasn't Alabama, Texas A&M, or something like that?
It wasn't Alabama. It was Auburn and Texas A&M, and I forget who the other one was. But it was top 10 teams 3 weeks in a row, and that's how they catapulted so far. And then we became number 1, had a bye week, and then we went and ran all over Kentucky. And then God help us, the Arkansas game happened, and that was just one of the worst games I can remember.
That's what we could agree on. We're both up. Arkansas is just that team that kind of just puts a bullet in our knee and just says, y'all lay
Constantly.
down.
I think our final score was
It's just
52
like,
to 52 to 51 in Fayetteville, and Dak Prescott had 600 yards of offense by himself. That's what it took to beat Brandon Allen and the Arkansas Razorbacks that year.
Hey man, Dallas Cowboys would take that Dak any day of the week.
You ain't lying.
But all right, so we broke down to both projections. We both know now. We know where both of us stand. I know you want us to go 8-4. You know I want y'all to go 3-9. Man, I heard we got don't we got a little bet going on or something?
We do got a little bit. Let's talk about the bet for a minute, John. Baseball was life for me. I used to coach college baseball. I watch baseball every chance I get. Baseball is what runs through the blood in my veins. And it's what gets me going. Baseball season every year. And what better way to solidify our rivalry than to have a little baseball action on our bet based on
I can't wait till
football
football
season.
season for our bet, so we might as well use it during baseball season, make it fun.
That's correct. I cannot wait because this bet is going to be both brutal and hilarious at the same time.
All right, so what do you have to do to win?
Okay, so for me to win, I've got Ole Miss going 8-4 this season. Okay, If Ole Miss wins 8 or less, I win the bet. If Mississippi State wins 3 or less based on your 3-9 prediction, you win the bet. If you win, I cannot believe I agreed to this, and all my Mississippi State friends and family are going to disown me for this. But if you win the bet, we have to meet in Oxford, Mississippi the weekend.
Oh, no, I'm picking you up.
Don't make me ride with you, bro.
Oh, no,
oh
you're
my
riding
God.
with me. Because I'm throwing. This came to my head. I'm throwing a little sidekick to this. That was not discussed. So on the way. So you're between you and me is on the path to Oxford for me.
That's right.
So if you win, I'll ride with you. If you win, you have to ride with me.
Okay. That's fair. Well, once we get to Oxford, the loser has to wear the opposite team's gear, head to toe, decked out in it, and has to legitimately cheer for the other team the entire baseball weekend, which is going to be hard to do because both baseball teams got some really good news out of the Major League Draft that we're going to break down in one of our next episodes. And it's going to be a great baseball season. And that series is going to be one of the top series in the country next year.
It's going to tune into.
It's going to be tough to sit there. And I just pray to God I don't have to sit there and yell about a woman's drink the whole time. Maybe if I have to do that, I'll go get my nails painted too and then feel like a real Oxford man.
But if you were to win and I lose, so that means if Ole Miss, say, goes 7-5, which I don't think will happen, then I have to deck myself out in that god-awful maroon and white.
That's right.
Don't you have some pliers I can use? I'll probably pull out a couple of my teeth to make me kind of look like a local, so I can give that old maroon and white chant.
You can pull your teeth out, you can do whatever, but one thing you're doing is ringing that cowbell until security throws you out, son. And you'll ring it on the way out too, and all the Ole Miss fans will hate you, and I'll be sitting there.
You're gonna make me sit in the car from point A to point B, just elbow arm out, just ringing that sucker, ain't you?
You damn right. I'm gonna play cowbell songs on the radio non-stop for the entire 90-minute drive between Starkville and Oxford.
No doubt, no doubt. But all right, so what if we both lose?
Well, if we both lose, then we both have to do our part at the same time. We swap roles for that entire series. And that may actually turn out to be more fun than one or the other.
Man, that actually could. It has a very high potential to be entertaining.
I think the only way I could survive wearing that god-awful red and blue garbage is if I look to my left. If I look to my left or right and I see you in maroon and white, it'll all be worth it.
I can say the same thing. Seeing you, wearing that old hotty-toddy across your chest.
That's right. And red and blue is America's colors. Red, white, and blue. But it ain't the garbage red and blue up north in Mississippi. It's a different red. It's a different red, white, and blue. It's different. Nobody likes that baby blue garbage. Who wants to wear baby blue?
Tulane, Liberty.
Baby blue ain't even their colors. That's the thing.
Hey, they have them jerseys now. I'm just saying.
Well, we've broken down the entire schedule. We're ready to roll. And on our next episode, we're going to talk about the entire SEC and go through our schedule predictions for the entire SEC. And we won't break down each game, but we'll kind of go over our records overall and see where we think State and Ole Miss are going to stack up throughout the entire conference. So thank you guys for hanging with us last week. Thank you for hanging with us this week while we get to mess with each other about our favorite game of the year, the one we look forward to 365 days a year. And join us next time.